Within the court environment, victim support and the witness service is the voice of the victim. We're the ones that are there specifically for their needs, and we're there to look after them from they come in the door until they leave. And basically we're the one organisation that's focused on the actual person. Everybody else within the court has a certain role to provide. The legal profession are there to fight the case on their behalf. The police are there to ensure that all the evidence is gathered and handed to the PPS to ensure that the case runs smoothly. And the one person in the middle of the case that hasn't got a specific voice is the victim or the witness, and that's where the witness service comes in.
In general terms, victim support will act as an advocate for victims and witnesses of crime, whether they be reported or unreported. If a case were to come to court, then the witness service takes over from the organisation's community service. As an advocate, we would liaise with different authorities such as the police, the prosecution service and the court service. That would be to ensure best service for that particular victim and witness's needs.
Some people have no experience of speaking in a public arena, and now they're being faced with going into a court and speaking in front of professionals who are using professional language. So what we do is we do a pre-trial visit, and that's where we take them into the courtroom to familiarise them with their surroundings. And during that we will explain the processes, we'll explain about giving evidence, taking your oath and what that means, about who will ask you questions first and then who will go second, and then where even the basics where you sit in a courtroom. This is basically the witness waiting area where witnesses would come. So whenever they arrive at court, we would read them at reception or through the private entrance, and we would bring them straight to this witness room. And basically this is where they stay until they're called to court to give evidence or called to the video link. We try to set it up as comfortable as possible. So there's magazines for people to read because they will be here for a period of time. Sometimes it's a matter of hours and sometimes it's a matter of days. It just depends what type of case they're in with. The office is always next door, that if anybody needs to speak to somebody urgently, there's the office. There's toilet facilities within this area, which means they don't have to go into the main building to go to the toilet, so there's no chance of running into the defendant or the accused in the case. Whenever the witnesses arrive and they're seated in the area comfortably and we've got them with a cup of tea or coffee, we'll go and let the PPS know that they've arrived and inform the investigating officer that their witnesses are here, which gives them the opportunity before court to come and speak to the witnesses in the witness room, where it's a relaxed, comfortable environment. We stay with the witness or the victim throughout the whole case. We're there if there's any particular need or anything that they need to know. We go straight away and access that information, or we access whatever it is they require straight away on their behalf. Because we're with them all the time, we build up that connection. Sometimes they reveal that they have a health or a medical condition that maybe wasn't identified to the police officer. We can then raise that with the court, and then it can be addressed in the proper way.
If someone were to be particularly vulnerable or intimidated, and it's been flagged up by the police should notify the Public Prosecution Service that there is special measures in place. When we're notified of that, then our pre-trial visit takes on a totally different aspect. The two main special measures we would deal with would be video links and screening. And screening is quite simple. It means just putting a huge curtain around the witness box, and the witness will be escorted to the back of the court.
Once the case is over and a verdict has come in, we bring the witnesses back to the waiting room so that they can discuss what's just happened in court. It's a good time for the prosecutor to come and speak to them and explain the outcome of the case. And at that stage we have an opportunity to speak to them and identify other needs that we may have identified during the trial but haven't brought up with them until the end of the case. We can refer them on to other agencies. There are cases like that may be eligible for PRIVIS, which is the Prisoner Relief Victim Information Scheme, which is very important for victims where there has been a sentence and they want to know when a defendant may be released in case there's the fear of running into them whenever they are released, so they don't just bump into them down the street. We also refer them back to our community service for additional support, because if there's a not guilty, obviously that's a very anxious and stressful time for a victim and they may be extremely upset by the outcome. So it's important that they get additional help whenever they leave the actual courthouse, because you're not part of the legal system and that's not your role. You understand how a victim's going to feel coming through the doors. You understand the fear and anxiety they have because you're just a member of the public like them, only you now have a specific role whenever you're in the court. So there's a human element to the witness service and to victim support because we understand where they're coming from. and that's where our training is on their specific needs. So we understand the fear and anxiety, not only of the legal system, the jargon, even the wigs and gowns. It's a unique environment within the court, and it's not something you experience every day. So we're here to explain that whole experience and help them relax and stay calm within the environment whenever we're here.
You get to treat the person as a human being. They do deal with a lot of professional people that don't treat them necessarily as human beings. You know, to police officers, barristers, this is a job, and once that person's gone, that person's gone. I think because we deal with the emotional aspect of that person and what's going on in their life, you have to strike a fine balance between that professional approach and the human side to letting them lean on you. It's a rewarding job. People are genuinely grateful for what you do, and that's what makes it so attractive.